Next, we're going to start gluing on the deck. And if you remember my video for bending wood, that left me with 3 pieces of wood to choose from. I've test fit these and I found that they didn't spring back very much. This piece is bent more than my stringer, but I like that. What's going to happen is that's going to help hold these pieces that are not pre-bent all together in the end. And that little extra bend up is going to help me maintain the nose rocker that I want. All of my boards are going to need to be joined to make it to the end of the board. So my first piece, I'm going to put a scarf joint up here. The paulownia will go next, and I'll have a couple of scarf joints back here. The paulownia doesn't make it the full length of this board either. So none of the pieces of wood will be full length on this board, but they'll all have corresponding nice looking scarf joints across the board. Okay, so now that I've chosen this piece of redwood for my first piece, first thing I need to do is add on to it. So I'm going to go cut some scarf joints on the bandsaw. Okay, I know I said I was going to use my bandsaw to do some scarf joints, but I just wanted to show quickly on this, and then I'll do it on the bandsaw as well. So a sliding table or sliding jig is, for me, the easiest way to make a nice accurate scarf joint. All I'm going to do is I have this piece that I've chosen to be the nose with the bend, and I have another piece of redwood that I ripped from the same board, so I know that the color is going to match up real well. And all I need to do is set this on my sliding table, and I'm just going to eyeball an angle that I think I like. I don't really know what that angle is, and I'll just cut it. And because I'm cutting them together, each will match. So now you'll see that that angle just comes together perfectly. I don't know what that angle is, but because I cut them together, this is perfectly straight. So I'll go do the same thing on the bandsaw. The bandsaw doesn't have a sliding table, so I just took a piece of scrap out of my scrap pile and nailed a piece of wood on that fits in the miter slot on the bandsaw, and then I'll go ahead and cut this edge off so it's right up against the blade. I'll show you that next. Okay, now we'll do the same thing on the bandsaw with the little jig I made, and I want to tell you that a lot of the things I'm doing here, like I'm going to run this kind of backwards. You normally stand on this side of the bandsaw, of course, but I'm doing a lot of this for the sake of the video. So when I made this, I intentionally left this a little long because I want to cut it with the actual blade that's going to cut my wood. So let's just run that through. Now I have a nice little sliding table to make some scarf joints. So we'll go ahead and make a scarf joint. So here's the same 2 pieces I cut back over there on my little sliding table saw. And now that I look at it, I think I'd like it even a little steeper angle. So the steeper the angle, the more of the glue surface and the stronger your scarf joint will be. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to set these on a flat table and try to clean up these edges a little bit. And I'm using my block plane. I sharpen this blade in such a way that it's just ever so slightly curved. And that's the way I personally like to use these things. Since this blade is ever so slightly curved, I can just roughly guess at a little bit of a back bevel on that. So I'm not going to run this block plane right in the middle. I'm going to run it off to this side a little bit, and because my blade is slightly curved, that's going to take a little bit more off the bottom edge. I'm not trying to put a big angle on it. I just want a little more off this edge, this bottom edge, because of the dome of my surfboard. And that way I'm basically mitering those joints together. going to go ahead and glue this on. I position the camera so you're sighting right down the middle of the board. And that's kind of the main thing I want to do here for this strip. You want to, most of the strips that I'm going to put across this board is really just a no-brainer, but this one you really want to spend some time on. Get it super perfectly straight, because this is a foundation for the straightness of the boards to follow. Okay, I'm going to glue it down with a little Tight Bond 3. I'm not putting tons of glue on this. I want it all to be glued, but I'm going to have the opportunity to go back once this board is turned over and see if I missed any spots. Okay, I actually screwed up a little bit. What I really should have done is take a little shrink wrap, which is going to be what I clamp this to, and pre-attach some pieces. Shrink wrap, a method of tying down these ribs that I came up with many years ago. And what's great about it, it basically works just like you're rubber banding these the strip on and not applying too much pressure. 50 pounds of clamps and it will get twisted out of shape and have all kinds of problems. So the shrink wrap works a lot better. Glue this scarf joint together. I am going to use a little clamp. If you must use clamps, if you have little problem spots where you need to do it, see if you can find the lightest, tiniest little clamps you can, because again, you don't want to put too much weight on this frame and start making it tweak on you. So that's feeling real flush and good on both sides. I want to kind of get this nose piece in the right place the first time so I don't have to slide it around and just slop glue. Get it as close as possible the first time. Right there. I'll just pull this out a little bit. And you can make it go through the holes in the ribs, or just go right on all the way under. You don't have to tie it. It sticks to itself so well, you can just kind of wrap it around. Just gonna keep her going. The camera cut a little early on me there, but so I'm going to have to describe what the last part of that take was that I sight down from the end the camera's on, sight down from this end. The shrink wrap allows me to still adjust it. It's not such high clamping pressure that I can't move it around a little bit, so I fussed and checked and looked down the end and kept playing until I could see that this piece of redwood was just as straight as I wanted it to be. And then I'll be able to cut off all the shrink wrap and glue the next two pieces on this afternoon. We'll see you then.